Okay, Doug. Glad you were able to make it back. I have reviewed the evaluation you brought us last week.
Okay.
Let me explain our process and then we'll get started. First, you have provided documentation which indicates that you have ADD. That all looks to be in order, so that makes you eligible for accommodations. Next, I will gather some additional information and we will talk about the accommodations you are requesting. Your request, along with this documentation, will be reviewed and we will notify you within a week of the accommodations for which you have been approved. At that time we will issue letters for each of your classes that you can deliver to your professors. Instructions will be provided to you along with the letters. These instructions offer suggestions for how to have a conversation with your professors about your accommodations. Any questions before we get started?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's start with what problems you are having.
Well, last semester I had to drop 3 of my classes because I could not keep up. That's why I came here, but since it took me a while to get tested, I had to drop those classes. This semester I am already behind. I lost my scholarship, and I am on academic probation.
You really are having a tough time. I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you have a strong support network to help you as you deal with that pressure?
Well, my mom has been there for me. I talk to her pretty often, and I have some good friends here in the dormitory.
Well, good. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here for you too. Our counseling center is also a good source of support. I'll give you their phone number before you leave.
Okay. Well, the main thing I need is to get things set up so that won't happen again. Maybe I can get my scholarship back if I have a couple of good semesters.
That's the spirit. So tell me where you are struggling academically.
Well, as you know, I have ADD, and my medication helps, but I still have a hard time taking notes in class. One of my professors last semester, in philosophy, gave us an outline for each class with key points. That is one of the classes I was able to finish. If I had notes like that for my other classes, that would help a lot.
That would be great if all instructors did that, wouldn't it? We can't ask for that. But we can put down that you would like a note taker for each class. I'll make a note of that. What else are you having problems with?
Well, my classes are during the day, and so I take my meds at 7:30 in the morning, but by 4:30 in the afternoon, my meds are no longer effective, and I hit a slump. So when I go to study, I have difficulty focusing. I think I could focus better if I had books in digital formats so I could see the material and hear it at the same time. I have done it before, and it makes a big difference.
We typically only provide books in digital format for students with visual impairments and students with dyslexia.
Oh? Then what do you recommend?
Can you talk to your doctor about this?
I already did, but he does not want to give me any other meds. I can try to study more during the day, and that will help some. But it is hard to find a quiet place to study between classes that works well for me. I have a friend, Rachel, who said she can show me how to scan my books so I can read them on my laptop with a program that highlights the words as it reads.
Well, I will put down books in digital format as requested, but I'll just let you know that it has not ever been provided here for someone with a diagnosis of ADD, so I am doubtful it would be approved. We have so many students with ADD. We don't have the manpower to convert all those texts.
Okay. Even if I could get some of my books, it would help. It would also be good if I could get my handouts electronically from my professors. If they could put them in Blackboard or email them to me. It is hard for me to keep up with all of the paper.
I will include that in your requests. You may also want to go to the Student Support Services office. They have classes on organizational skills.
Well, at my previous college, they had a program for students with ADD and LD. They taught those things, but my advisor finally told me I would be better to just keep everything on my computer so I could find it when I needed it. That worked great.
Okay. I've added that to the list. What about exams? Are you having trouble on exams?
Well, yes, but mostly because I am not set up to study well yet.
Do you want to request extended time or to be tested in a low distraction environment? That is what most students with ADD find helpful.
No, that is not really how my ADD affects me. I can block things out and focus on exams pretty well. I have more trouble when I have to read large amounts of materials and sort through it all and figure out what is important. I think once I get things set up so I can learn the material well, I'll be okay on the exams. Like in philosophy last semester, I had the notes from the professor electronically from Blackboard, and the class was very interactive, and my book happened to be one that my friend had in e-text. I read it on my computer, and I made an A in that class. I did not need extra time for the exam. My professor even asked me if he could use my paper as a model for other students. The other class that I did not drop was my Introduction to Web Design class, and I did fine in that too. Everything was in Blackboard, and in class we worked on our projects, and I was able to stay very engaged. But we're in the professor's lecture for a full hour and my notes are not adequate. I am just not able to get the material into my head.
What happens when you try to read?
My mind wanders over and over again, and it takes me forever to get through a chapter.
But you don't have that problem on exams?
No, because like I said, my classes are during the times my meds are working best, and the adrenaline of the exam actually helps me focus. I know some people with ADD say the stress makes it worse for them, but as long as it is not too stressful, I can focus better.
Or maybe you are more interested in some subjects than others?
Well, I think that is true of everyone. Right?
True. Okay. So the requested accommodations I have down for you are books in digital format or on tape.
No, ma'am. Audio only is not good. It is to be visual and audible both.
Okay, books in digital format. Note takers. Handouts in digital format. I'll go ahead and add extended time and quiet testing location, because those I can approve immediately because of your diagnosis of ADD.
Okay. If you say so. But I don't have to take my exams in a separate place, if I don't want to, right?
Of course not. You can decline any accommodations at any time. This just makes it possible for you to take advantage of them if you need them.
Will it confuse my professors if it is on the letter, but I don't use it?
It depends on the professor, but you can meet with each one at the beginning of each semester and explain that to them.
Okay.
Just a few more questions. Who is your emergency contact and what is their number?
My mom, I guess. Her number is on that evaluation at the top.
Do you have any other disabilities?
No. Just ADD.
When were you first diagnosed with ADD?
Middle school.
Have you declared a major?
Not yet, but probably media or graphic design or something like that.
You mentioned attending another school before. What was that and why did you leave there?
Yes, it was a great school with a good program. It is called University of the Lakes. It was a private school, and we just could afford the tuition for 1 year. I miss it a lot.
I'm sorry about that. I hope you will find your niche here soon. What should I put for anticipated graduation date?
I hope in 2016, but not looking good.
Are you a client of the State Vocational Rehabilitation Agency?
No.
The last thing we need to do is for you to sign this consent to release information. This will allow us to communicate with your professors and anyone else on campus who needs to know about your accommodations. If you want to add your mother to this, we can do that, or the psychologist who provided your evaluation. I have to run to a meeting but will leave you to complete and sign this form in the reception area. I've checked professors and the student support services, since we talked about your going there, and you can add anyone else.
I can't imagine a need for anyone else to know. And I imagine my mom will just talk to me if she has questions. And you already have the information from the psychologist.
Okay, that's fine. It is up to you. I'll email you in the next week with the disposition about the accommodations you requested and will also include another appointment time so we can discuss the next steps.
Okay. Thank you. I will finish this up. I will see you next week then.